Hi, it's Rob from Game Developer Studio. A quick video showing the new Comic Bubble Creator Pack now available on the site. You can use this pack to create comic bubbles for your game scenes or for your comic scenes. This is a GDS Editor Core Essentials pack, which means that if you're a GDS Editor Patreon or you're in the GDS Supporter Club, you'll get this pack for free. So the pack contains everything you need to create comic bubbles. So now I'll show you how you can launch the GDS Plus app and start creating the bubbles. So once you've downloaded the files, you'll see inside the files, they come out full screen, are the comic bubble files, the SVG files, the PNG parts. So if you don't want to use GDS Editor to make the bubbles, you can use whichever is your favorite editor software, your editing software like Photoshop. I've got some examples in there, so if you just want some quick bubbles to chuck into your game, you can just use these. And of course, what we're going to look at now is the GDS editor files. So there's a couple of GDS editor files included in this download. So the first one we're going to look at is the Comic Bubble Maker All Parts. So if we go back to the website and we launch GDS Plus, up here in the navigation panel you can see the GDS Plus launcher, and let's load it. So now we've opened GDS Plus, we'll load that file. So I've already navigated to it. So inside the Comic Bubbles download you'll see the GDS Editor file folder. Let's open that and let's load Comic Bubble Maker All Parts. Let's open that, and it loads all the parts we need to create our comic bubble. So if you've used GDS Editor before, you should know how it goes. You simply drag and drop items to make a new asset, to compose a new asset. You have available features that you can edit. So on this one we can adjust the outline weight. We can select background fills for the bubble, so we can have scaling dots, checkers, stripes, dots, inner shape, and we can adjust the colors as we see fit, like so. Okay, so I'm going to go back on that for now. So if you've used GDS Editor before, you'll be pretty familiar with how these files work. Now also included in the pack is another type of file which I'm going to load. So I'm going to create a new scene and I'm going to load the new scene file, and it's called the Comic Bubble Maker. And this file contains toggleable layers that's going to help you select items to create your own bubble without having to drag and drop things around. So as you can see, we've got some categories on the scene panel on the left hand side, which we can also select to open their properties on the right hand side, and we can toggle these. Each time we select one, we turn off the one that's selected. So if we want the word POW instead of the word crash, we can select POW. So you can select a category and then go in and select the item that you want. So let's select let's create a bubble with this. So let's select this explode star, and while it's selected I'm going to go and change the color of it. So let's have this as like a bright yellow. Let's have a look. Let's add the inner shape. So on this one it's got toggleable features such as the inner shape. You can fill it with scaling dots or stripes or checkers. So let's select this inner shape and go back to the color selector, select pattern, and I'm going to put that as red, but bright red. And I'm also going to work on the fill, so up on the stroke. I don't like this color stroke, so I'm going to change that manually. I'm going to go into the color select and I'm going to find the stroke colors, which is this one, and I'm going to select that. Can you see how it selects it? And I'm going to select set it to, I'm going to start with this color, and then I'm going to find a nicer color for it, maybe a bit redder. Yeah, that's a nice red. I think that'll do. Let's put the saturation up a bit. Okay, so let's change this word to an explode word. Let's check it out. We can have boom, or we can have kaboom. Kaboom will do. And I'm going to put the saturation up on that just a bit. There we go. And now that that's done, I'm going to hit the E key. So we can hit the E key and that'll export a PNG for us. So if I just save it directly to the folder, let's come out of that and see if it's saved a PNG for us. So this is probably going to take a while to open on my PC. There we go. You see you've got a nice PNG of the comic bubble that we made. Close that for now. Let's go back. So as well as the words and the bubbles, we can select the particles underneath. That's quite a nice one. And we can also include more particles. If we go to the particles, actually no, if we go back to our scene here, let's copy this and add some more of this. So I'm going to Control C, copy that, and bring it into our mains, and I'm going to paste it in. So I've got an extra one of these. As we pasted it in, this won't be toggling, so it'll be permanent visible. Let's grab another one of these and send it to the bottom. I'm going to duplicate it now that it's in the scene, bring it round here, and I'm going to make it a lot bigger. And again, I'm going to send it to the bottom. Now, because we made it bigger, you'll see that the stroke weight's changed. So I'm just going to quickly adjust that stroke weight. Let's bring the stroke weight down. There we go. That's a bit more compatible. And I'm going to do it with this, just to keep things symmetrical. Now, because I've brought these new particles in, you'll see that it actually comes out the size of the scene. So there's two ways to fix this. We can go to the scene settings and resize the scene, which will automatically resize the scene to the components. There we go, as you see. Or we can just use the Control B key, which will automatically resize. Now, when we hit E to export this, let's just save it as oversized. When we hit E to export this, you'll see that it makes an oversized PNG. We've got lots of padding at the top. That might not be a concern, depending on which game engine you're using. It might trim that off automatically. But if you don't want that, you can use the export area tool, which is this. So we can draw a rectangle and directly export that rectangle, which will trim quite a bit off. So if we select that area and let go, we'll make a new one called resized, which will have trimmed quite a lot of the excess padding off. Let's see how that turned out. Resized. There you go. You can see it's more bounded now. Okay, so if we go back to our scene, let's have a look what we can do with the other pieces. So as you see, we've got quite a few words already included. If you need to create another word, you can drag and drop these fonts. So now I'll show you how you can make a really nice looking word that looks like one of these. So if we pick a new word, let's pick, I don't think hay's there. No, there's no hay. So let's pick a hay, H-E-Y, and let's have an exclamation mark. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're working with. H-E-Y, there we go, about that'll do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all three of those, or all four of those, and I'm going to duplicate them, and I'm going to change the color to white. I'm just going to put them all up white, and then I'm going to change the stroke. I'm going to set the stroke up to about 100%. And now I'm going to send them to the back. There we go. So now we've got a nice border around all the letters that doesn't cut into each letter. So if I want, I can copy that. Let's go back to our scene over here. Let's get rid of this. And let's go back to our main area and let's paste that in there. There we go. So if we want to hide this, we can go up to the transform properties and we can hide this for the moment. So instead of selecting it over here, which will, instead of hiding it, it'll make a new one visible. Let's hide it. Go back to main and let's select what we just brought in. Let's bring it up to there. And let's go back down to our bubbles. Let's have this little speech mark. And again, on the particles, we can get rid of these particles. And again, let's hide the particles. We can hide those. And we just want this. Let's make it a bit bigger. Control B to resize to the scene. And E, just the E key to export as a new ping. There we go. Let's have a look at that. And there you have it. So if you're working with these files and you make a mess and you delete things that you shouldn't have deleted, or you bring stuff over and you've made a real mess of it, it doesn't matter. You can just reload the maker file or any one of the files and you'll be starting from fresh. So if you bring it in again, it'll bring it in as a new scene. So we don't need this anymore, so we can hit the escape key to delete the scene. So you can hit the escape key or you can use it from the scene settings. You can open the scene settings and remove the scene with the button. So let's go back to our maker file. So we've got a completely re-established creator file. So there you have it. So this font will be a handy font. You don't have to use this font buttons for making just the comic bubbles. You can use it for other items in your projects. Or you can use this file for crafting your own without the aid of GDS+. As well as the GDS bubble maker, you can also, if we go back to the website, you can also include other files directly in it. If you wanted some bursts or some glows, let's try and add one of those. Let's see what that looks like. So let's add a burst. I'm going to chuck them all in and see which one I want in the end. So now that I've put them all in, you can see that on the scene it looks pretty messy, but because I added them to their own category, I'm going to select them all and just move them out the way. And let's have a look, maybe this one. There we go, that one will do. So yeah, that's made an improvement to it. Let's delete all those others. And let's just quickly change the colour. Let's have a white. There you go, that looks very comic-y already. So Control B again to resize to the scene. So that's available now on the website if you want to pick it up and have a play and have some fun making your own bubbles. Thanks for watching. Bye.